Hello everyone, welcome back to the EduTalk series where we call educationalists and elite group leaders to inspire parents and teachers with their inspiring stories. Today with us we have Geeta Verma, the principal of GD Goenka Signature School. She has been in this field for 30 years now. Her interests are varied and the new learning have truly added to the richness of her experience as an educationalist and administrator. She believes that as a community, we need to work together for the child, with the child at the center of all. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today. We are honored to have you here with us.
It's a great pleasure to reach out to the parents out there and, of course, interact with you. Thank you so much for inviting me for this conversation.
So, ma'am, how have you been?
Well, I'm having a great time because we sort of reopened our school on 6th of September. And of course, we're doing the hybrid model. But more and more parents are opting to send their children to physical school. So it's nice to see the building, with the children all around, to hear their chatter and their giggles and, to hear their footfall. And we're looking forward to greater participations and more children coming on campus post Diwali. So exciting times because it's been a year and a half. It's great to be back to school. I really missed it.
It's been a long time. I'm like, for the first time, I guess schools have been closed for this long.
I know. I think probably in the history of mankind. So it's a huge black swan event. But let's pray and hope the worst is over and behind us. And we're looking forward to a new beginning and a great start next year, especially in the April 2022 session.
Hopefully, ma'am. Hopefully. All the best for it.
Thank you so much.
So, ma'am, let's start with the basic question. That is, did you always want to be a principal? Like when you were small, did you always look up to being a teacher, or it just came along the way?
No, so my background is that of being an army brat. So we kept moving schools every 2 years. And my first initial years, I studied in a range of convent schools. And the nuns who were there, their dedication, their passion, and their piety really inspired me and my sisters. We are three sisters. And since I think I've been in grade 3, I've always wanted to be a teacher. And I was a very, very bright student. And when I took up arts, humanities, and then I joined B.Ed from at CIE, people said, "Arey, what a waste." And I really used to get after them. I said, why can't somebody who opts and wants to be a teacher not be one? Why should it be a happenstance? And why should it be the last option or by the way? Our education system will never improve if we don't choose. So teaching is my vocation, it's my passion. And over the years, I've taught English literature in both the IB world, the Cambridge world, and CBSE. And since 2015 and 2012, actually, I've been in leadership positions. Was teaching till 2017, then completely had to let go because a lot of work comes on your table, on your plate when you're handling the whole school. But I see it differently. So for me now, instead of impacting 30, 40 children, I impact 30, 40 educators, my teachers. And then they in turn take that learning back to their classroom. So I'm impacting a larger group of children. So now my children and my pupils have become, the teachers have become my pupils, and I'm mentoring and teacher training them. So yes, I'm still a teacher and a proud one at that.
That's great to hear, ma'am. Ma'am, just like you mentioned that many people, especially in our society, they think that being a teacher is the last resort or the last option. But it's like they don't understand that a teacher is someone who is creating a future generation. Like everything is in the hands of teachers.
It's quite ironic because here you are putting the future of your child 8:30 to 3 or 8:30 to 2 for 16 years. Nursery, KG, and then 14 years, 15 years, and you don't want the best resort. The best resource will be one if you give that respect and that dignity and a certain financial payback, then you will attract best of people who want to make a change. But I think that's the paradox in society, and it's not just in India. I see it happen in other countries as well. Teaching is just not given its due. And here you are entrusting your child in the hands of people who have chosen this profession as a last resort. Very, very ironic.
It is, ma'am. But ma'am, I'm sure you are doing a great job in it. So thank you for being this amazing.
Thank you so much.
So, ma'am, like you said, you were an army kid. So, ma'am, how has it been? Like, you had to change a lot of schools, I'm guessing. So, where was the difficult part? Was it difficult for you, or very exciting for you? How was it?
I had no basis of comparison. So I thought this is life. You change your school every 2 years. Having said that, Sajna, I'll tell you very frankly, it's my husband also is from an army background. Let me tell you, it teaches us a lot of resilience and tenacity because you're suddenly uprooted and then you're sent to a new place and you have to make new friends. You've got to cover up some missed portion of the course. It could also be a different curricula, and you cope with all of that. And it could be at any time of the year. And so it's made me tenacious. It's made me very, very sedulous and strong. And you'll see often, say, these beauty pageants and all of these places, you'll see a lot of children from the defense because we have the adaptability quotient very high. And it's fortunate that today, from IQ and EQ, the world is moving towards creating an AQ in the children, the adjustability quotient or the adaptability quotient. And an uncertain future, which Corona has taught us that is here to stay. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Teaching children just the content is not going to help. You have to teach them life skills so that they can face this unpredictable future. And how do you teach them those life skills? It's by actually making them do a real world experience, a hands-on experience, or making connections to life. So here also in GD Goenka Signature School, I'm telling my teachers, content is a medium, it's a vehicle. But you've got to teach them life skills, which is what is going to make them happy, balanced, and successful adults. Having said that, it's not that the parents of, say, your parents or other generations didn't have those skills. They did, but they learned it by the way. I'm saying let's do it with intention, and then we will create transformative adults. So that's my long-term vision and goal.
Just ma'am, like you said about adaptability, but most of the time we see that parents are overprotective towards their children. So they don't, not consciously maybe, but they themselves don't let them adapt to it. Like you have been this adaptive because your circumstances were there, but most people can't be that adaptable because their parents don't allow them, or they are overprotective. So do you have any word of advice for the parents?
I can only tell them let the children take risks. Let them ask questions and then let them find the answers why. But if they can't do it, leave it to good principals and good teachers. We'll take care of their AQ in school because we are going to push their boundaries. We are going to ask them to actually find out answers and not give them ready-made answers. We are not going to mollycoddle them because a ship is not meant to stay in a harbor. It's meant to be sailing the wild ocean. And you can't keep a ship in the harbor, then the very purpose of the ship gets defeated. So our children are going to grow up, they are going to leave homes, they are going to venture out, and they will have to make on-the-spot decisions as adults. They'll have to face various kinds of work environments. They'll have to work with a various team of people. So you have to teach them intrapersonal skills. You have to teach them self-awareness. You have to teach them decision-making. And parents can do that, but they have to do it with a little bit of letting go and not being helicopter parents. But Sajna, having said that, I do meet a lot of parents who are that open-minded and that ready to explore. So I still think there is hope for our generation. More and more parents are becoming adaptable and letting the children explore. So there's good news on the horizon.
Hopefully, ma'am, hopefully. Ma'am, like right now, earlier we used to see that, the entire education system was on a mug up basic. Like you mug up things and you write it down. But right now there are changes coming in. There's the NEP coming in. So ma'am, any thoughts on NEP, or, which policies you think that should be applied immediately or anything?
I think, although not many people would agree with me, but the grade 10 and 12 term exams that are happening in end November, early December, which is the model of the MCQs. I think it's an excellent model because there is no mugging up. Either you know the concept or you don't know. You need to apply, you need to know how to eliminate, you need to know how to solve it and then make a choice. So I think MCQ is a move in the correct direction. Also dividing your examination content into two parts, term one and term two, I think that lessens the burden on children. That is great. And I think NEP is also stressed on two things. One is, of course, working on, experiential learning, the hands-on learning, project-based learning. So many schools are adapting that model. And in fact, we are at GG Goenka Signature School, we are starting post-Diwali interdisciplinary project. We are a CBSE school. We are a conventional, traditional, but within that, what we are doing is we are bringing in Wednesdays, which is what NEP says, no bag days. Okay, we won't have a no bag day, but we certainly have a no bag hour. So Wednesdays, senior wing, and Thursdays, junior wing. They 2 to 3, they're just going to work on an interdisciplinary project, which will culminate somewhere in Jan or Feb. They'll also be working with for an annual production. So that 1 hour every week, besides the other curricular activities, will be hands-on creative stuff, working together in groups, and there's a product at the end of it. And third, last but not least, what NEP has been saying about inculcating life skills is exactly what I have started now doing in my school. We are working in the curriculum and the lesson plans and saying what is the intention behind teaching this, and making our teachers more mindful about the intention of the life skill being the bedrock of the content, which is just a vehicle to deliver that particular, nurture that particular life skill. So these are 2, 3 things that I think I am practicing. And like I said, good that we are having MCQ, because it's an application based exam. It's not a rote learning exam.
Absolutely. And also, like, now there is no, in the practical life in school or in colleges, when we are in the education system, we always, at least till even my date, it was like you have to mug up, you have to write down. But in the practical life, it's much different. It's a blend of the education as well as the practicality. Absolutely. So I think that is being introduced, and I think that would be great. Hopefully, India has a bright future ahead.
Yes. It'll take a little while to onboard it, but I think it starts with a tiny spark, and one must not give up hope and optimism.
Absolutely. So, ma'am, how has the pandemic affected your school? Like, I know that there has been a lot of changes that has been.
I could speak on this for hours. So there are some good, there is something, there are pros and cons to both. There are two sides to coin. Some good things which has come out of Corona is that we have embraced technology beautifully. Teachers, especially in conventional schools, were, the chalk and talk method, or I need my whiteboard and my markers. And here suddenly overnight you have to upscale yourself. And they did it remarkably well. So I really need to laud their, upskilling and their open-mindedness to take on this challenge wholeheartedly. Not that they had a choice. And we now understood that we can never go back to the conventional way. We may not follow a hybrid model, but we may certainly have a model where some is, classroom teaching, asynchronous. Some would be off the class and the child does his own work and then technology comes in aid. So this is some of the good things that happen. But yeah, the cons outweigh the pros. We by the very nature of our existence as a human species are social in nature. So that whole social interaction which young children have missed out is going to impact them. And the social interaction that teenagers have missed out is going to impact them. We are going to get socially more awkward. We are going to get socially more introverted. But yes, we are going to see the impact, the socio-emotional impact of COVID as the years go by. It was very difficult for teachers to a certain extent to, come out of the comfort zone of working from home. Human beings quickly fell into that pattern of, go attend the class, do your work and all of that. And yes, people struggle to get into that routine of getting up in the morning, in the school bus and coming to school. Of course, human beings are adaptable. So we got fell back and became comfortable. But yes, COVID has had a more social, mental, emotional impact more than the economic impact. So I think that's something that we need to look out for. And we need a lot of socio-emotional learning and modules for children to get back to being the socially interactive human beings that they are. It's going to take time.
Absolutely, ma'am. Ma'am, do you think, like, now that your school is open, do you think that children are having difficulties, because of the COVID, to adapt again to coming back to school, socialize?
Oh, they're loving it. They're loving it. In fact, Sanjana, just 10 minutes before this interview began, so today was the last day before Diwali, we made the entire school, there are just 100 kids, into 6 groups. And we made them do Rangoli, in all different corners. The idea was to develop interpersonal skills And the idea was also teaching them how to get along with each other, which they missed out, and also, let their creative juices flow. And they did such fantastic work. So then it was 2 o'clock and they said, it's time to go home. They didn't want to go home. They don't want a break. We love coming to school. The smiles say it all. So I think children are very happy in school. They realize what them, especially the teenagers. So I am
Ma'am,
not facing any issue. In fact, from post Diwali, from 8, when the schools reopen, we are expecting almost to double our numbers.
actually, I've seen that also. All the college students, as well as my sister, is in school. She's so excited that school is reopening.
Yeah,
Everyone is excited.
made a huge difference now that we've opened the school and slowly the numbers are increasing. So fingers crossed, it remains like this and it just goes on the up and up. And April next year, then we open like a normal school.
Hopefully, ma'am. Hopefully.
Yes, yes, hoping for the best.
So, ma'am, just like the government is taking some effort in changing the education system through NEP and everything, there we have also seen a lot of principals and a lot of schools who are taking a lot of initiatives towards children and parents, educating not only children but also parents. So, ma'am, is there any initiative that you took from your side, or maybe you saw some principal taking it and you really were inspired by it?
No, so I myself, Sajna, have been doing it. I've been holding some Zoom conversations with parents, which we just say a talk with the principal or a coffee with the principal. And one thing that I made very clear to my parent community is that it is not a question of us and them. There is no desk or an office dividing parents and the school staff. We are all in it together. We are all in the same side. At the center is the child. So we just want to create an environment where the child is happy at home. For that, we need parental support and cooperation, and give him a great environment in school where we teachers and the admin staff and all work together. The moment you say that to parents, there's an immediate comfort zone that is created, because the parent realizes, yes, it's about my child. It's not about, meeting this alien lot of people called teachers and principal and somehow, getting it going, and I'm on this side of the fence. I just put them at ease and say we're all in it together. And for that, the response has been very favorable. And now post Diwali, I'm planning to have more such sessions because I need the parent community involved. I also want to reach out to parents who have something that they want to share. It could be a work experience, it could be some career advice, it could simply be, just talking about mindfulness, meditation, whatever. I mean, parents have varied interests. So we're going to set a series of those kind of talks also for children, for which I will create an outreach committee. I'm just waiting for more parents and more children to join the school, and then we'll take it on a big scale.
Ma'am, this is actually a great initiative, because all of us know that the first home is the first school. So unless parents are upright, parents are understanding towards the children, there is a mental and emotional effect that children go through.
Yeah. Right?
Most school don't have this. That is why I've seen, like, most schools, most children and parents, they don't have effective communication between them.
Very true, because I think they're coming with their own world in their head and their biases. The teachers feel कि parents को हमारी situation समझ नहीं आती. Parents सोचते हैं teachers को कुछ पता नहीं, मेरे बच्चे को क्या करना है, पर मैं मजबूर हूँ, school तो जाना ही है. So one has to break down that wall. One has to collapse that wall that has been created, which I call the us and the them, and tell them, hey guys, we're all in it together for the child, the girl or the boy. We're all batting for the same. That your child grows up to be a great, fantastic human being and a responsible, balanced, happy individual. So I'm not saying that I'm going to receive success overnight. I have seen some change, and it's an ongoing project. It's a work in progress.
Ma'am, change is the most important thing. Even the initiation towards the change, that is the most important thing.
Yeah, I just need a few like-minded parents, and I have those. And they need to just spread the word around that, yeah, here the philosophy at Goenka Secondary School is very different. It's not us and them, we are all in it. We're a community, we're a family.
Absolutely, ma'am. So, ma'am, there's this question that is going around, that is, everyone, like most Indian children or students, they want to go abroad to study. Like they don't want to stay here, either they want to go abroad to study or settle down there. So ma'am, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's right, it's wrong? Should they stay in India? Is abroad education better than Indian education?
Actually, I'll tell you something. If you look at the proper data and numbers, it's not a very large percentage which sends the children down because A, financially, it's not very viable. B, I think the majority of the Indian parent wants the child to get through IIT or through NEET or through whatever. So that for the small group of children who want to go abroad, I really don't have any reservations about that. I'll tell you what we can do as a country with higher educational institutions. We need to open out to private universities if they want to set up a small branch here like they do it in Dubai and Middle East. Or in the private universities, start giving undergrad programs, not a particular stream, but let a kind of let the child shop, let it be a buffet of subjects that he or she can take and follow their interest. It's somewhere around the junior year or the senior year that you feel, okay, now I want to specialize in this. I think for the freshman and the sophomore year, the first and the second year of university, you should give them a variety of subjects, which is lacking in India. So that's why children go out, because there a child can take a psychology and can take, creative writing, or can take math and can take, American history. So that flexibility of choosing courses is something that if I feel our universities adopt, it'll be great. It'll open avenues for children. And more importantly, I think somewhere the universities which are a part of the government, they need to go back to the drawing board and revisit the syllabi. They are in their comfort zone, they're stuck there. So somebody like I did my English literature 20, 30 years. I met somebody who's done literature 5 years back, same books. Nothing has changed. And if we allow for that flexibility and change in syllabus, keeping the intention and the learning targets right, I think children will get attracted because most of them like to go abroad, because there is a certain flavor to a student life and a certain flavor to the courses that they do. Whereas here in India, we are a little more straitjacketed. So I think maybe we open out, and some private universities are. I won't say they aren't, some are, but I think more need to do it. I think then the trend may become a little less, but you can never stop people from going out. It's really just giving them I don't think there's some kind of a brain drain happening. I don't think.
Absolutely, ma'am. Ma'am, just like you mentioned that most parents want their children to be in crack IIT or NEET or things like that. But it's a mindset of people. But ma'am, don't you think like there is a huge world beyond that? Like Indian society, your parents, like many do understand now because things are getting better. But typically, it is like if you are not cracking IIT or any NEET, then you are nowhere. If you want to be a musician, you are nowhere. So, ma'am, what are your views on this? Is there any advice you want to give
The
to teachers,
majority of
parents?
the majority of the parents today, some of them, of course, have very high aspirations for the children. Maybe the children are like that. Good for them. But a lot of parents now started saying, just get good marks and get into whatever field you want to and just become independent. So that bit has changed. Not many are running after IITs. I've met some parents who are very aware of their child's strengths and weaknesses, and they're letting them choose. But yeah, it's still going to take a long time, but the change has begun. I can see because I have, even as the IB head at Heritage and the IB coordinator in Pathways Noida, I saw parents changing. So initially when I started teaching, 99% of the IB children would be going out and doing whatever. But over the years, it has become 50-50. 50% of the children choose to stay back and follow courses which, feed into the passion. I can give you the example of my own daughter. She's also an IB graduate, an IB diploma alum. She has gone into doing fashion communication, fashion marketing, and I never forced her. Good student, but I never said you will become an engineer and get into IIT and you need to get 100% in maths and all. And today the job that she's doing is a job of her own choice. So she's enjoying her work. She's carrying less stress to the workplace. My ardent appeal to all parents is if the child chooses, you are there to guide. Don't impose, but if the child chooses to follow his or her passion, he or she will be a happy individual. Let them make their mistakes. It's okay. You made them too. Your children cannot be perfect. There is no perfect way. There is no perfect way to be a parent, but there are a million ways to be a good parent.
Ma'am, I hope this advice reaches to the maximum amount of parents.
I hope so, and I'm ready to talk to more parents. I can talk on this philosophy for hours because we think that what I went through, my child won't, but they don't realize the child is a person and an individual in his her own right, and she's not your shadow. She's not your product. She's not someone who's going to fulfill your dreams. She is a human being in her own right, and we need to acknowledge that, especially as Asian parents. I think we try and mollycoddle and closet them too much. I'm saying let them fly.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you for sharing this amazing thought, ma'am. So, ma'am, like we got to know and we got to know you as a principal a bit. Now we'll go to know you as an individual. So, ma'am, like you have had a long journey. I'm guessing that from teacher to a principal, it's been a long journey. So, is there any life mantra, ma'am, that you blindly follow, or you have always followed, something you really believe in?
I believe in be the change you want to see, because I really believe in if you feel that this should happen, well, it'll begin with you. So I, as a principal, cannot expect my teachers to do X, Y, Z if I don't do it. And so, one thing that I request all leaders and principals to do is now is the time of servant leadership. You have to lead the way by example. So, I've always believed in be the change you want to see, which is very a Gandhian approach. And another one of my favorite ones, which has made my personal and professional life very happy, is Carpe Diem, which is seize the day. So, live in the now, stop planning too much in the future, stop regretting your past, enjoy the now, because the now is going like this, gone. 3 seconds of my life gone. So we really need to live in the now. So I really believe in the philosophy of Eckhart Tolle. I do hear his podcast, but he talks about living in the present and future will take care of itself. So this
That's
is
great,
my
ma'am.
personal mantra and philosophy.
That sounds great, ma'am. So, ma'am, any inspiring character, like any fictional character or real life character who has kept you motivated and inspired throughout the years?
Fictional character, there are many, but I think my biggest inspiration has been my parents, who instilled very good values of integrity, truthfulness, accountability, and transparency. So I owe a lot to my parents for that. I'm a voracious reader, so there are so many characters I love and like, so I really can't name one. It would be unfair. And another person who I really like in terms of the philosophy about life is Mahatma Gandhi. And I know it's a cliche. I do not believe in his political views. I do not follow him as a political leader who got us our freedom. But I do like his philosophy of seva bhav, and अपना काम खुद करना चाहिए. Be self-independent. कोई काम छोटा बड़ा नहीं होता. And be the change you want to see. Be a role model. Children are always watching you. You as a teacher can never stop being a role model, even when you're not teaching. So those are those 5 or 6 mantras I really believe in. And the rest, of course, is my parents.
That's great, ma'am. So, ma'am, the last question on this section, that is, this would be a very stupid question to ask, but
No
anyway.
question is stupid. I'm a teacher. I love questions.
So, ma'am, what has been like any one favorite memory in your entire journey? Something that made you feel very special or happy?
Oh, there are many, but yeah, one or two I remember. One is, I was walking in the mall and suddenly this big burly child comes and he touches my feet. I'm like, who are you? So he says, ma'am, don't you remember XYZ? I said, yeah. And he was the naughtiest child in my class. And I didn't pay much attention. He says, ma'am, now I'm in the university. He had come from US. He says, ma'am, aapne na hame janwar se insaan bana diya. You taught us things which had nothing to do with English literature. It had to do with time management, again, integrity, organizational skills, getting along with people, research skills, all of that. He says, I'm flourishing in the university because these values no teacher taught me. I've forgotten what you taught me as a part of the English literature, curriculum. But this is what I remember, and I want to touch your feet. And I was so touched. So I think that at that moment, everything falls into place and you just feel so happy being a teacher. It's something you can't put a word to, it's something you can't put a value to. It's priceless.
It sounds great, ma'am. And like hearing to all these, I wish you were my principal, ma'am. But okay.
Oh, Sajna, I was a very strong and a tough teacher. I was very, very demanding of my children. But I hope they turned out to be good individuals. Most of them have. Most of them are still in touch with me.
Hopefully, ma'am. I'm sure they will. So, I'm coming to the end section of our interview. This is a new section that we have introduced. This is known as Parents Ask. So, we have a couple of questions that parents normally ask us, or we have surveyed these questions. So, I'll just ask you those questions and seek your views on them. So, the first is, my child does not study. What should I do?
Do not take the responsibility of his study on yourself, and do look at what is the child studying. If it's the repetition of what was done in school, he will not study. And frankly, you would not want him to study. Take what he has been given and go on a journey of exploration with him or her. Spend time with them. Spark their curiosity that if you're doing this silly worksheet, let's look at why. And just spend a 10-15 minute exploring that, he'll go back to the worksheet. Time spent, communication done, and inquiry question change. Your child will start studying.
Great, ma'am. Okay, coming to the second one. My child finds it difficult to remember lessons. What should I do?
I am totally against this thing about remembering lessons and rote learning. Your child doesn't remember lessons. It's okay. He needs to remember concepts. He needs to see a real world connect. Just expecting a child to mug up and remember when his heart and soul is not in it, he doesn't understand the logic of it. He sees no connection to the real world. I am totally with the child. He will not. And let him not. Let him not. Grades are not going to make your child a good human being. Life's lessons are. Convert that entire thing into something which is conceptual. Reach out to the teacher and say, can you give him or her a real world connect? Then my child will learn better. Ask and demand this of the teachers. And once they see a real world connect, they will never forget.
Absolutely. Okay, coming to the last question for today. My child is very shy. How do I help her overcome her shyness?
She needs to be with the teacher and you need to talk to the teacher. The teacher needs to first create an emotional rapport. The teacher has to make the child fall in love with her. The moment the child feels it's a safe, loved place, then start giving her responsibility for the speaking out or leading a team as per her comfort level. So we had a child who had never done public speaking, was really shy. So he said, no, we want you to be an MC. He started crying. But we said, okay, let's go back to the problem. You don't want to speak in the public. Why? He says, I may forget. So we said, what if we allow you to read out from a paper? He said, okay. He says, I'm not going to look up at the audience at all. I'm just going to stand on the stage and read from the paper. We said, okay. And we let him do that. And today, the child is absolutely confident, comfortable. Let it come from the child. What would he or she like? Here I am to support you. The child needs to feel loved and supported and needs to be given that responsibility of opening up in baby steps, small steps. Let it come from the child. But emotional rapport with the teacher is very important. And if the teacher doesn't have it, please raise this issue up with either the head of the department or whoever is there in the line that my child needs to feel loved and safe. Can you train your teachers on that? I don't care what she teaches, as long as she gives love and affection and my child feels that I'm looked after, I'm safe. Can she do that? Can you train her? Parents need to demand these things rather than saying, or padhai do, or homework do. We hear this from parents. And I don't think that's the key to success.
Absolutely, ma'am. You are absolutely right. With that, ma'am, we come to an end of our session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. I have learned a lot from you today, and I hope this video goes out and reaches a lot of people so that they can understand your thoughts, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Sajna. It has been a great pleasure. And all I want to leave the parents with is a small little two-liner. You remember your teachers, you remember your parents, you forget what they said, but you never forget how they made you feel. So love your child, listen to your child, spend time with your child, learn to say no to your child. You'll be doing a big favor.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day and happy Diwali to all.
Happy Diwali, ma'am.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.